Why are so many young Africans taking dangerous journeys to Western countries, crossing the Sahara Desert and Mediterranean Sea? The answer often lies in the lack of opportunities at home, and African leaders are largely responsible. By failing to create the right conditions for young people to thrive, these leaders are pushing citizens to seek out risky paths. For many young Africans, this journey, known as the back way, becomes a desperate choice, one that's both dangerous and heartbreaking. But why should anyone have to risk their life for a chance at a better future? One major reason young people are leaving is because there aren't enough jobs at home. While leaders talk about growth and opportunity, many African countries face high unemployment rates, especially for young people. Despite promises from politicians, the reality stays the same: limited jobs and few ways to make a decent living. Those who go through school and college often find there's no work waiting for them. And when they look around, they see leaders living in luxury while everyone else struggles. This widening gap makes them feel that their only hope is to look outside their country for a real future. Political instability and corruption are also big reasons why young people feel forced to leave. Many African nations struggle with corruption, where public money meant for the people goes into private pockets. This money could be used to build schools, create jobs, or improve healthcare, but instead it funds lavish lifestyles for politicians. With so much wasted money, the country's economy stays weak and people lose hope. Young Africans watching this from a distance feel angry and helpless. It's no wonder they want to leave. They're tired of seeing their countries fail them. When young Africans leave, it's not just the physical hardships they face on the journey, but the painful realization that their leaders back home don't seem to care. These leaders have the power to create jobs and make positive changes, but they rarely act. If they truly cared, wouldn't they invest in the welfare of their people? Wouldn't they build industries, support small businesses, and reduce costs of education and healthcare? Instead, we see empty words. To the youth, it feels like just talk, while they see friends and family struggling and lose hope for a better future. So they look for a way out. Social media and the internet play a big role in driving this desire to migrate. With smartphones, African youth can see the lifestyles of people in Western countries. They see pictures and videos of successful people, beautiful places, and endless opportunities that seem impossible to find at home. What they don't see are the struggles migrants face once they arrive, like finding jobs, dealing with high living costs, or facing prejudice. But from afar, the West looks like a dream, a place where everything is possible. This image is powerful, and it convinces young people to take risks, even at great personal danger. Family expectations add even more pressure. In many African cultures, young people feel they must support their families financially. If they reach the West, they can send money home, making life easier for everyone. Some families even sell land or borrow money to fund these journeys, hoping that their children will succeed abroad and repay the debt. For the young, this becomes a huge responsibility, not just about their dreams, but about taking care of loved ones. This pressure makes the back way seem like the only option, even though it's incredibly dangerous. And hey, if you're finding this topic important, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Your engagement helps us continue bringing attention to issues that matter, giving voice to those who need it most. Education is another huge challenge. While schooling has improved in many places, access to quality education remains limited in many African countries. Many young people don't have the chance to learn skills that could help them find good jobs. They graduate with little hope of finding meaningful work, which leaves them stuck. Governments could fix this by funding better education and creating job training programs. But there is often little focus on this. So without skills and opportunities, young people feel trapped, thinking that moving abroad might give them a better chance. Climate change makes things worse. Many African countries depend on farming, but extreme weather makes this difficult. Droughts, floods, and changing seasons ruin crops and take away livelihoods. When farming fails, young people move to cities in search of work, but even there, jobs are scarce and the cost of living is high. Eventually, they feel they have no choice but to leave. Facing such tough circumstances, the back way starts to look like a path they must take. In this crisis, smugglers and human traffickers take advantage of young people's desperation. They promise easy ways to reach Europe or the US, making it sound like a guaranteed journey. They charge high fees, knowing that people will pay almost anything for the chance. But these smugglers don't care about the lives they ruin. Many young Africans end up stranded in the desert or abandoned at sea, far from help. This happens because back home, there's often no effort to educate people about the real dangers of these journeys. It's tragic, and yet leaders seem content to ignore it. So what can be done? To stop young people from risking everything, African leaders need to step up and take real action. First, they must invest in local industries to create jobs. This can happen if governments support businesses, improve infrastructure, and encourage entrepreneurship. Young Africans want to work. They just need opportunities at home. Leaders have the power to make this happen, but it requires commitment and accountability. Next, African governments need to take a stand against corruption. Public funds should go toward the people's needs, not personal luxuries. When leaders misuse public money, they take away from everyone, especially the youth. Fighting corruption isn't easy, but with transparency and strict laws, it can be done. Young people want to see that their leaders care and that their country is moving forward in a way that includes them. When they see real progress, they'll feel less pressure to leave. Education reform is also essential. African leaders should ensure that young people can learn skills that will help them find work. Training programs, internships, and better schools can make a big difference. If youth have access to quality education and the chance to train for good jobs, they will be more likely to stay and contribute to their countries. But for this to happen, leaders need to make education a top priority. Finally, young people need a voice in their governments. Leaders should create spaces where youth can share ideas and feel like their opinions matter. By engaging young people in decision-making, governments can show that they care about the future of the nation. It's not enough to talk about change. Leaders need to show it through actions and policies. Young Africans deserve to see their countries as places of opportunity, not as homes they have to escape. This crisis of youth migration isn't just about finding a better life. It's about African leaders finally addressing the problems they've let grow. If they don't, they will continue to lose young people to the dangers of the back way. Africa's future depends on its youth, and it's time for those in power to show they value this future. Every life lost on this journey is a reminder of the failures that need to be fixed. If you believe African leaders need to be held accountable and that these issues matter, share this message. Let's raise awareness for a future where young Africans thrive at home, where they don't have to risk everything for hope. It's time for African leaders to make real changes before more lives are lost.